So what group are you in?
Yeah, so Canon, we're broken down into a number of different functional groups in the company. So the two largest groups we have are what we call our image technology and communications group, which is really our camera and consumer imaging group, for lack of a better way of describing it. And then the other group that we have, the other large group we have, is our office technology group. I spent the first roughly 23, 24 years of my time at Canon in the office technology side of the business. And a number of years ago, back in 2011, we actually created a separate subsidiary of Canon in the US that we call Canon Information and Imaging Solutions. And that company is you can almost think of it as a solutions development and delivery organization for Canon in the Americas. And a year ago, I transitioned into that company full time. I had been with that company since its founding, but I was kind of wearing two different hats inside the organization. And so it was about a year ago, I kind of moved there full time. So that's been keeping me very busy, to say the least.
That's awesome, man. That's 20 plus years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a long time.
What happened? Just a random newspaper job post. You're like, hey, let's go to Canon.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because I started my career at NCR, and I spent 2 years with NCR. And after that 2 years, NCR was acquired by AT&T and then became what was called AT&T Global Information Solutions. And I hung out there for another couple years, and I reached a point where, at the time, I was in sales, and I wanted to actually transition within AT&T at the time into more of a product marketing type role, but there weren't any opportunities available at the time. So, this will date me certainly, but of course, I then looked for job postings in the New York Times, if you can believe it. These are the days before, Monster and some of the other job boards and sites and so forth, right? So, so I applied to an ad in the New York Times and interviewed with Canon, and it wasn't long after that I came here. And that was a really interesting transition, going from kind of the computer industry to the office technology space, which at the time was still very much traditional, analog, non-network connected type technology. So it was almost like a culture shock for me for the first year. But the industry has been transitioning, a lot, significantly since then. So it actually got quite exciting quite quick. So and before I knew it, here I am 25 years later. Go figure.